Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show. Ooh, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Tuesday morning here, September 24th. Would you believe me if I said I just crushed a breakfast burrito 11 seconds before this started? Tuesday morning here. Good to be back doing this here again today. We were at Ball Arena last night, folks, in person, watching a real life hockey game. Sure, it wasn't necessarily between professionals, as there was a lot of minor league guys out there, but it was just nice to be back in the building, back around. I've been jealous of our Broncos and Buffs reporters here at Guerrilla Sports for the last few weeks. They've been back in action now for a while. So it's nice to get back to the arena, get back around just the vibes and hearing the sights and sounds of professional sports, professional hockey in particular. We got a great show for you guys. This morning, we are going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff going on in the NHL, including a big contract extension for a guy here locally, someone who absolutely deserves it. We'll talk more about that also coming up this afternoon. The Guerrilla Sports Off Ice at 1. But we'll talk a little bit about that. Amazon Prime with some big announcements for the NHL and hockey in general across North America. And then we've got baseball playoffs coming up this week, but really it's the final season of the week, which has some repercussions that extend beyond just the postseason, specifically for the folks in Oakland. Then we are going to get into a little bit of NFL, 2 Monday night games last night. In addition, some breaking news for Derwin James of the LA Chargers. Almost said San Diego for the LA Chargers. And then Jaden Daniels, we're going to make sure to park some time for him. He was one of those 2 Monday night games last night, and holy smokes did he pop off. But we are going to start here locally with that contract extension we were talking about. Logan OConnor, the mayor of Denver, as he's affectionately called by Avalanche fans, former DU Pioneer, undrafted free agent, signs a 6-year, $15 million extension. Logan OConnor told us yesterday before the Avs' first preseason game. He didn't play in it, but he did speak with the media before the game. He said that him and his wife sat on the couch after terms had been agreed to on his contract in a little bit of disbelief. They just got married this past summer. Like I said, Logan OConnor was an undrafted free agent, signed by the Avs really because they had the familiarity with him from playing right down the street at Magnus Arena for the Denver Pioneers. And they brought him into camp. He said it was the only rookie camp invite that he got. So he went, he impressed. He just continued to work his tail off, earned a contract, eventually earned himself an NHL contract. And then it was in the 2020 bubble when Logan OConnor drew into the lineup as a black ace, as the Avs had injuries stacking up, including the knee injury that now has held Gabe Landeskog out for 2 years that cropped up originally in that 2020 bubble. Logan OConnor is one of the players that drew in when it looked like the series had gotten away from the Avs. They were down 3-1. Injuries were stacking up. Logan OConnor drew in, and he ended up being a catalyst for the Avs being able to push that series to 7 games. Logan OConnor's effort, his motor, his skating ability fit right in with the Avs right away, and he was able to translate that a couple of years later, that summer, into a 3-year deal. Got himself a 3-year deal, just over $1 million, and that was considered to be a massive success, a massive development success story for the Avs. Hey, here's this undrafted free agent that you had a good look at just down the road, and you were able to turn him into a full-time NHLer. Well, now his contract runs through his age 34 season, and Jared Bednar, the head coach for the Colorado Avalanche, told us last night, this is a guy that after this new contract should be an Av for life. We'll have more on this, his fit, why this makes so much sense. And again, 6 years, $15 million for an average annual value of 2.5. Unbelievable bit of business for the Colorado Avalanche, given what Logan OConnor means to them. Tune in at 1 o'clock, Gorilla Sports Off Ice. Myself, JJ Jerez, and Megan Angley will be getting into much, much more of the Logan O'Connor contract and what it means for him and the Avs going forward. We were just talking earlier this week that they probably wanted to get a deal like that done before Logan O'Connor goes out and prices himself out of Colorado. We'll be talking a lot more about it coming up. But not shifting away from hockey completely, Amazon Prime and the NHL with massive announcements coming yesterday. Not only did they release the trailer, for their new 6-part docu-series called Face Off, behind the scenes look at the NHL, an inside look at the NHL, Face Off inside the NHL. Not only did they release the trailer for that, which looks outstanding, by the way, highly recommend you go check that trailer out. They also came out and announced 2 major broadcasting updates look, Amazon was one of the third parties that got in on the broadcasting deals for the NHL as of a couple of years ago. They haven't done a lot with it. It's primarily been through the form of docu-series and documentaries at this time, but Amazon Prime came out yesterday and announced that in Canada, they'll be launching Monday Night Hockey this year. It's going to be a big event. They said, kind of meant to not compete with, obviously, because it's not on the same night, but have a similar feel as something like Hockey Night in Canada. Prime says that their goal is to make this a major event every Monday night in Canada. When I first was reading this, I didn't realize that this was going to be something that was exclusive to the Canadian broadcasting markets. I was sitting there and I was like, you poured all this money in, did all this market research, got your best people together, and came up with a product to compete against Monday Night Football? But no, not the case. This will be Canada only. However, they did also announce a North American initiative that will be coming on Thursdays called NHL Coast to Coast. Think NFL Red Zone, but for hockey. They're going to be coming in and out of different games, going to key moments, power plays, late in games, 5-on-3s, things like that, empty nets. They will be bopping around to all of the top action throughout the night on Thursdays, starting. They didn't give it an exact date yet, but this will be starting very, very soon, coming from Amazon Prime and Prime Video as part of their new initiative and deals with the NHL. Gary Bettman spoke yesterday alongside Amazon and said that the league is really hoping that Prime will be able to bring a bit of a wow factor. And he even said, we're hoping we'll break some traditions a bit and appeal to the next generation, the next wave of fans. I really like the fact that they are trying something different. If you guys have followed my work for a while, you know that I am big on let's try it and see how it goes. And in a lot of instances with stuff like this, you usually end up finding a winning formula somewhere. I love the fact that they're trying something different. I love the fact that they're trying to roll out, another day to get people gathered around the TV to watch hockey on Monday nights. And I am very much looking forward to this docuseries. We got a little bit of an advanced screening on it yesterday for the first episode. Very much looking forward to seeing the whole thing. I think there's a lot of interesting behind-the-scenes content that you don't normally get to see, especially in hockey. Prime has done this with a couple different teams in particular over the last couple years, but this will be the first docuseries Amazon Prime has done that really has followed several players across several different teams from the beginning of the season all the way through the Stanley Cup final. Amazon Prime putting their stamp on the NHL in a big way yesterday, and to me, it's nothing but good things for hockey. Quickly, let's jump on over to the MLB. Philadelphia Phillies last night did secure the NL East title. It's the first time since 2011 that the Phillies have captured the NL East. This is the final week of the MLB regular season coming up right here that we're currently in. So playoffs coming soon. The Phillies, it's been a while, 13 years. No play-in game, no wild card game for them. They are the NL East champions. I do enjoy playoff baseball. I got into it really a few years ago because, look, growing up being a hockey guy, playing hockey my whole life, you get used to fast pace, games moving quickly. I always struggled with baseball a little bit. I love the drama I love the drama of the MLB postseason where you get into a certain point of the game and you're hanging on every pitch. Every time they throw the ball, it has the opportunity to be something game-changing. And I'm looking forward to this. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Phillies securing the NL East championship. But let's not leave the MLB just yet, as on the opposite end of the spectrum, the poor, poor Oakland A's. John Fisher, owner of the Oakland A's, penned a letter to fans this week acknowledging this will be the last week that the Oakland A's play in Oakland at the historic Coliseum. And, you know, I read the letter yesterday, and I'm not going to read it all to you guys here because it's long. But I actually thought it was an instance where it's not hiding from it, not running from it. It's honest. It's what happened. Did not get a great reception from fans, from pundits, people who were dialed into this situation. And I just want to read a quick little excerpt from it because he talks about the fact that they tried to get a deal done in Oakland and it ultimately couldn't be done. And that's why they are moving now. Sounds like to Las Vegas, but again, that is not exactly locked in yet. We talked on this show a couple weeks ago about the fact that they have a temporary 3-year home in Sacramento in a field that is going to be shared with a minor league team, and that is already causing all kinds of issues for possible MLB players playing in Oakland. But here's just a quick quote from John Fisher's letter to fans. This is the second to last paragraph of the letter. Quote, "There are millions of dedicated and passionate A's fans in Oakland and around the world. Countless dedicated staff members and Oakland Coliseum employees have poured their hearts into this team, and their efforts have meant so much to our community. I know there is great disappointment, even bitterness. Though I wish I could speak to each one of you individually, I can tell you this from the heart. We tried. Staying in Oakland was our goal. It was our mission, and we failed to achieve it. And for that, I am genuinely sorry." Again, there was a lot of pushback on the "we tried." Earlier in the letter, he says that they tried for 16 years to get a new home, a new stadium in Oakland. And let's see, I thought he gave a number, 5 different locations. The Oakland A's tried 5 different locations, according to their owner. And the reason that they had to move, he claims here, was because of the agreement with Major League Baseball to have a new arena for the Oakland A's by 2024. That obviously did not happen. So that's why they are moving first temporarily to Sacramento and then to Las Vegas. So I always feel for a fan base when you lose your team. It's got to be tough. It's got to be tough, especially in an instance like this where I know there are a lot of dedicated and passionate A's fans, especially in that area. You saw, we're seeing the push online to make sure, hey, we're stopping the boycott, get to the last game before they're gone. Like I said, you feel for them. I'll be curious to see if they can get everything pulled off in Vegas. The renders and the plans that we've seen for that stadium and entertainment district down there where the Tropicana currently sits, or I guess not for much longer. They've got a demolition date, I believe, coming up on October. Ooh, man, I hope it's not. Ooh, maybe. Is it October 9th? Because we will be there for Colorado Avalanche, Vegas Golden Knights. Doesn't matter. Tropicana, they have not started any kind of building there. Stuff is still waiting for approval. So we'll see. That's got to be the hardest part if you are a diehard A's fan and are going to continue to support the team even after they move, is the uncertainty surrounding them really isn't going anywhere. We'll keep an eye on this situation as it continues to develop. Final week at the Oakland Coliseum for the Oakland Athletics. Let's shift gears here. NFL, Derwin James suspended for a player safety violation. And here is the explanation that was sent to him by the league. Quote, during the third quarter of Sunday's Chargers-Steelers game, you were involved in a play that the league considers a serious violation of the playing rules. The video of the play shows that you lowered your head and made forcible contact to the Steelers tight end. You had an unobstructed path to your opponent, and the illegal contact could have been avoided. Your continued disregard for NFL playing rules will not be tolerated. Substantial penalties are warranted when players violate the rules intended to protect player safety on a repeated basis, particularly when the violations carry with them a significant risk of injury to an opposing player. I don't know if I've ever seen language that stern from the league directly to a player in an open statement like that. However, Derwin James has already paid almost $100,000 in fines since 2022. 2 seasons ago. $91,000 since 2022 for hits to a defenseless receiver per Sport Track, and he has led the league in unnecessary roughness penalties. He led the league in unnecessary roughness penalties last year. This is a photo right here of the hit that led to the suspension. And it's kind of hard to see here, but he does. He lowers his head, makes significant contact with the head and neck area. I've talked about it before. I was told by someone once, if you want to take out the problem of the injuries, to remove the helmets. And I remember laughing at someone once when they said that, because I was like, remove the helmets to help with concussions. And the argument that was made to me was, yes, these players have turned them into weapons. They're not trying to tackle, they're trying to hit. They're leading with their head. Not only are they risking serious injury to opposing players, they're injuring themselves on every hit. And that was exactly what we saw last night. Or not last night, excuse me. On Sunday with Derwin James. Like I said, that harsh verbiage from the league directly to James. We saw it last year with the Denver Broncos. They had a player that just, and his name's completely escaped me right now because I apparently am not very good at this, who had been suspended just time and time again, fined time and time again. Eventually, you run out of places that are willing to employ you. We'll be keeping an eye on this one with Derwin James, what that suspension ends up being, what the fines are that's associated with it, and how this affects him going forward. Typically in the NFL, we've seen a track record of this not really making a difference. They're going to continue to go out and do the same thing. You're going to have your old school fans who say, hey, that's just the game. That's just how it is. You got to be tough. You got to go out there and hit. What are we getting rid of hitting now? No, just stop using your head as a weapon. All right, shifting gears here. And you know what? This is actually my fault. We don't have a graphic for this one because it's really quick. And it's just a quick little note that came out this morning. A quick update on Christian McCaffrey, who is dealing with an Achilles injury. He is heading over to Germany to see an Achilles tendon specialist. You're happy that he's looking and getting specialist help, but having to travel that far for someone to look at it is not encouraging. Christian McCaffrey has struggled with injuries his entire career. Obviously ran all the way to the Super Bowl last year, had a great postseason, and it's just a shame to see him coming out of the gates this year. Highlands Ranch, Colorado native, went to high school probably about 5 minutes from the house I grew up in. And it's just a shame to see him continue to deal with these injuries. So wishing the best to Christian McCaffrey for a speedy recovery. Get back on the field, continue to make Highlands Ranch proud. Let's wrap things up today by talking about the Monday Night Football doubleheader from last night. A lot to get into on this in particular. Let's start with the Bills just absolutely shellacking the Jacksonville Jaguars 47-10. Now let's pause right here to talk about this for a second. The Monday Night Football games, or really any of the football games, are always shown in the press box when there is an Avs game or a hockey game that we're at on football night. So there was both games going. And people in the press box were even talking like, well, this is weird that we have multiple Monday Night Football games. And I was kind of in hockey mode, so I didn't really think much of it. I was checking the scores on the games and things like that. But then this morning, we were recording the newest Guerrilla Sports show, We're the Harrises, which will be out tomorrow morning. Make sure you guys check that out. And they brought it up. Chris Harris Jr., Shelby Harris, Ryan Harris, and said, look, I think it's great that we get more football on Monday night by doing the doubleheader, but they made a couple of arguments. One, they said you're competing audiences. You're splitting your audience in half for a Monday Night Football game. They also made the argument that for a lot of these players, like Jacksonville, you don't get a lot of primetime games in a season, and so to have your audience split on your one Monday night game kind of sucks. But they did also make the point, they said, the Bills kind of did everyone a favor, though. That game got so ugly so quick. Most people just flipped on over to the game that was actually worth watching. The Washington Commanders edging out the Cincinnati Bengals 38-33, pushing the Bengals to 0-3 to start the season. Joe Burrow was looking for answers last night after the game. And look, we talked about this in week 1 when the Bengals fell to 0-1 in a bit of an upset scenario. And we said this is a team that was a preseason favorite, not just to make the playoffs, but to go all the way to the Super Bowl. Suddenly at 0-3, the Bengals are staring down a situation where they're going to have to maybe not win out just to make the playoffs. It's still early enough in this season that you're not quite to that territory yet, but all of your margin for error is gone if you are the Bengals. I mean, just an absolutely shocking start. They've lost to a couple teams that a lot of folks have thought they should beat, including last night, but Jaden Daniels had other thoughts. What a performance for Jaden Daniels last night against the Cincinnati Bengals. 91.3% completion rating for Daniels last night. Again, another topic of conversation that you'll hear tomorrow on We're the Harrises is how many quarterbacks can you think of at all who have had a game where you had a more than 90% completion percentage, especially in a winning effort where you were the starter. Not like you came in at halftime in a game that was already a blowout. And while doing that, which was the NFL rookie record, by the way, 91.3% completion percentage, Jaden Daniels also became the first player in NFL history, rookie or otherwise, with a 90% completion rating, 250 passing yards, 2 passing TDs, and a rushing touchdown in a single game. First player in NFL history to do that. Here was the other number that I found absolutely staggering from Jaden Daniels last night. Jaden Daniels has now, in 3 NFL starts, this is the number 2 overall pick out of LSU in this past summer's draft. In 3 NFL starts, Jaden Daniels has had 2 games where he has scored on every drive, excluding kneel downs at the end of the game. So excluding that last time they get that ball back and kneel it down. He's done that twice in 3 starts. Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning in a combined 1,094 starts for those 4 quarterbacks that I just listed. Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning have combined for 2 games where they score on every drive, excluding a kneel down. So Jaden Daniels in 3 starts has done what those 4, I mean, there's a lot of people who would probably put those right there, 1, 2, 3, 4 greatest quarterbacks of all time. Jaden Daniels has matched them in 1,091 fewer games. Just unbelievable. This is video game stuff from Jaden Daniels, what we're seeing right now. You know, all the hype around Caleb Williams and even Bo Nix coming out of the preseason, not even coming close to what we've seen Jaden Daniels do through the first 2 weeks in Washington. The Commanders are out to a 2-1 start. I think that's all we've got for today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, of course, with more Guerrilla Sports Daily. Like I said, we're not done for the day quite yet. 1 o'clock, Guerrilla Sports Off Ice. We'll break down everything we saw at the game last night. Plus, we are going to deep dive into this Logan O'Connor contract extension that was announced yesterday. 6 years, $15 million. We're going to have all the details and everything about what it means coming up for you guys at 1 o'clock. Got Ruben back there on the board today. There he is. Not nervous at all. This is his first time, his first day on the job, actually, so he's doing a great job. Ruben back there running the board, making sure you guys can see us and hear us. Jay at home helping out as well, not feeling great, but finding a way to help out. We appreciate it. For Ruben running the board, my name is Jesse Montano. This is Guerrilla Sports Daily. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.